Hey everyone, welcome to Danny Chats. This is episode number 20, and today I'm joined by Jillian. She's from Canada, and how's it going, Jillian?
It's going really well, thank you.
Brilliant. So, we've been speaking on Instagram. You're a liver transplant recipient, and you're an avid swimmer. That's right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I saw a recent picture of you in basically some ice cold water. Like it looked freezing. So, what was that? What was that about?
Yeah, that freezing cold water is one of the five Great Lakes. It's called Lake Erie. Excuse me. That's just around Ontario, and this lake happens to be very close to my house. Um, so yeah, sometimes I like to go to the lake and get in the water and acclimatize to the cold temperatures. There's a few reasons I do it. One of them is just the mental training and the mental aspect of being able to brave something that is otherwise sort of undesirable.
Yeah.
And also just getting the benefits of cold water after like a hard training session. So those are some of the reasons why I like to swim in the freezing lake.
Do you have to have like might sound a bit extreme, like a medical team or anything with you? Because is there not a chance of like hypothermia or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. You definitely want to be, you want to have a strong heart for sure. And you definitely want to start slow. So you don't want to just all of a sudden one day go in for 20 minutes. You might start with literally 1 minute um, and build up on that. And it depends on how cold the water is as well. So earlier in the fall, the water was somewhere around 50 Fahrenheit. So we were able to stay in for maybe 20 minutes. Um, but as the temperature's been close to freezing or freezing, we might stay in for 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely have to go in with caution.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even sure I could dip my toe in, let alone get in there.
It's all about the mental game. So if you drive to the lake or a river or somewhere with the intention of going in, you'd probably surprise yourself and you'd be able
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. So how long have you been swimming then? Because you're a really keen swimmer, I see.
Yeah, so I started swimming when I was a kid. I think I was about 4 years old, and I swam on the local swim team in my town up until I was about 15 years old. And then, unfortunately, I stopped swimming when I was a teenager. I think I probably got busy with social life in high
Yeah.
school. But then I've returned to the water very shortly after my liver transplant that was in 2016. Um, so I've been swimming most of my whole life with a bit of a chunk in the middle there.
But did your parents get you into swimming, or is it something that's like quite because it's not, it's not a massive sport here or anything. So is it something that your friends did or your parents did?
My dad doesn't swim. My mom has swam, but it was definitely her that got me into swimming, and my sister. I think she wanted to put us in a sport that was probably affordable and a bit social. So I think, but I took to the water very early. Like it was always hard to get me out of my bathing suit. I would spend a lot of time um, in the water wherever we were. So yeah, I'd have to thank my mom for getting me into swimming at such a young age.
Yeah. And so what led to your liver transplant?
Yeah, so there's a hereditary disease that runs in my family called hereditary hemorrhagic telangiectasia. In simple terms, it's a blood vessel malformation disorder. So, unfortunately, I had abnormal blood vessels causing irregular blood flow through my liver, which caused my liver's function to fail by the time I was 29. Um, that's why I needed a liver transplant, and the same for my mom. My mom has had two liver transplants as well.
Wow.
Um, Her second one happened to be just 2 weeks apart from mine.
Wow, what an incredible time for the family. Like,
Yeah,
that's massive. That is massive.
Yeah, it was quite
Uh,
a time.
and did you know that this might happen, that you might need a liver transplant if it's something that run in the family?
No. So when my mom was diagnosed, it was it was around the time of her first transplant. It took them a few years to actually figure out what was wrong. Um, and at the time, that's when we realized, oh, this is a hereditary thing. So the rest of our family was tested at that time too. So when I realized that I had the gene, I really, I was 15 years old, so I really didn't think, I'm going to need a transplant. And if that ever crossed my mind, it was like that would happen when I was an adult, like older and much farther down, um, in years to come. And it was something I didn't think I would have to think or worry about as a teenager or even into my 20s.
Yeah. Did you become ill all of a sudden then? Is that what happened? Did you end up in hospital or something?
Yeah, so I was in my early 20s when I started experiencing symptoms. The first symptom was abdominal pain. So I experienced a lot of pain in my stomach, and I honestly didn't know at first what it was from. I thought maybe it was after eating something. And so it took a while for the doctors to realize that this was the disease that was um, showing itself.
Yeah.
And it still remains a mystery why it affected me at such a young age.
Yeah. So you hadn't had any sort of really health problems up until then either?
No, no, I
No.
didn't. And so I struggled with my health through my 20s. And they tried various medications. I was on an experimental drug for 4 years. I think I started it when I was 22. And about 26, 27 is when the meds stopped working. And they said, if you're going to have a transplant, you need to be off of these medications. So I endured another few years of some pretty intense illness before I had my transplant.
Yeah. And then how would you compare your life now to like pre-transplant, like a few years pre-transplant sort of thing?
Oh, it's totally different. Like I feel healthier. I feel happier. I feel like my purpose is greater. I feel like I'm a lot more grateful for everything now. I don't take the small things for granted like I used to.
Yeah.
Just getting up in the morning and feeling good, like there was so much time during my illness where I felt so sick and so unable to move my body freely that I couldn't wait till I was healthy again to be able to experience feeling good again.
Yeah.
And so I carry that with me every day, and I think about that every day, and just so grateful for my organ donor. Um, so my life now is, like I said, it's a world of difference. I wouldn't take any of it back, as awful as it was.
Yeah. And did you kind of have a little bit of a preconception of what was going to happen as your mum had a transplant previously?
Yeah, and as weird as this might sound, the my mom's illness and seeing her go through 2 liver transplants really gave me a idea of what was to expect, and she was there to support me, and she was there to, if something was happening with my body, I was feeling pain, she was able to tell me that's normal, or that's not normal, you need to go get help.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to have her support through all of that. So yeah, definitely had an idea of what I was getting into.
And is your mum doing all right now?
My mom's doing really well.
That's great. It's lovely to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah,
So, because I mean, to go through the process once is hard, but to go through it again, you know.
yes, yeah.
Um,
My dad has seen 3 liver transplants.
yeah, yeah. He's been holding it together for everyone, I suppose, while you've all been
Yeah,
recovering.
yeah,
And so, how long was your recovery? Can you kind of remember much about that time?
yeah. So my recovery, I at the time, I think about a year after my transplant, I thought I felt like myself again, but it wasn't
Yeah.
until like closer to 2 years is when I actually felt like, okay, now I actually feel like I've never felt before. Like I feel really great. And I do attribute swimming to a big part of my recovery. Not just the physical aspect of getting stronger, but the mental part and the discipline that I applied to keep swimming every day and to keep getting stronger. And for me, I still find swimming very meditative.
Yeah.
So it was that time in the water for me to really just focus on my breath and focus on becoming better every day is what really helped me recover from the transplant.
Yeah, I can kind of relate in a way that since I've sort of decided that I want to compete, it's given me a goal to aim for. And then, like when you're training, all you think about is the training in that moment. It takes everything else out of your mind. It's
Totally.
it's almost like meditation in a way. I mean, that's kind of what
I,
meditation is, isn't it?
I think it is. It's like meditation doesn't have to be sitting with your eyes closed. It can be doing anything really, as long as you're mindful and in the moment.
Yeah, and you're focused on that one sort of subject as what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, so you got yourself fit enough to compete in the games, and how did you get on?
Yeah, I did really well. So I've been fortunate enough to compete in two World Games. The
Yeah.
first were in Spain, in Malaga in 2017. I came away with two silver medals, one in the 400-meter freestyle and the 200-meter freestyle. And then at the Newcastle Games in 2019, I competed in 5 events in the pool, and I set all new world records in my age group and won gold medals. So it couldn't have gone any better, really.
So 5 gold medals and 5 world records.
Yeah,
That's incredible. That is
yeah.
incredible. Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
And no doubt, I mean, there was a lot of training before that.
Yes, yeah, a lot of training.
Because, that's because to be good in one kind of swimming, you might set one world record in one stroke, but to do, I think it was like five, it can't be 5 strokes. Was it different team events as well, maybe?
Four, there were 4 events. Sorry, 5 events, 4 strokes. So the 50 fly, 50 butterfly, a couple freestyle events, and the 200 IM. And the 200 individual medley is like not something I really like to do. It was a challenge, but I happened to do pretty well at it. And the IM, for anyone who doesn't know, is it's an event with each stroke within. So it's 50 meters butterfly, 50 back, 50 breaststroke, and 50 freestyle. So
Yeah. We had a swimming team in my secondary school, and I did backstroke, but butterfly was like just
it's a
incredibly
killer.
awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite?
I really like freestyle. That's my favorite. But my
What
second favorite is butterfly.
what would freestyle be? Because that's just picking any stroke you like, isn't it?
Um,
Or is
yeah,
it? Yeah.
it could be, but freestyle is also front crawl. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
front crawl. So that's my go-to stroke. It's my strongest, my fastest. I do really like butterfly, but in shorter distances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 world records, and then so from there you're still swimming loads, and now you are swimming across. Is it Lake Ontario?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and is it the biggest lake in Canada?
That's a good question. No, I don't think it is. I think, for any Canadians listening, you're gonna be ashamed. I think Lake Superior might be the
I
biggest Great
think
Lake.
so, because oddly, I was actually looking up world's biggest
Okay.
lakes with a friend. Just we were talking about it on a completely different subject. Yeah, I think
Oh,
there's one that borders on America with you guys that's like absolutely huge.
yeah, yeah. A couple of them do. Like Ontario's right on the border, so the lakes kind of dip into the states. So sometimes half of the lake is American, half is Canadian. Yeah, I think Superior's the biggest, definitely the coldest and most wavy.
Yeah.
Ontario, Lake Ontario, is traditionally the lake that if someone were to choose to swim across a lake, it would be that one. So that's what I'm training for.
And how long is the swim?
It's 52 kilometers.
Ooh.
Yep, it's pretty far. So this will take, I'm expecting with my pace, it'll probably take me 18 hours to swim across.
Wow. In
Yeah,
just 18 hours of non-stop swimming.
pretty much. The breaks I have will be, someone will throw a bottle of whatever I'm eating and drinking from a rope. It'll land
Yeah.
in the water and I'll tread water, drink it, and keep going. So
Yeah.
you really don't want to stop too long because I might get cold. And I definitely don't want it to take any longer than it's already going to take. So
Do you have to wear a full wetsuit for this, or can
you're not allowed to wear a wetsuit.
why?
Uh,
Is that breaking the rules?
it's considered assistance. So
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough, fair
technically does
enough.
break the rules. And
Yeah.
I suppose if I wanted to wear a wetsuit, I could. However, it would not be documented as an official swim, and I'm all about having it done correctly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, of course. If you're gonna do it properly.
yeah.
So what made you want to do this? There's because I know there's a little reason behind this.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a couple personal reasons, and the biggest reason being that I've since my transplant, I have had this deep passion to give back to the transplant community that saved my life and saved my mom's life twice. So I want to do the swim because I mean, I love to swim, and I thought if I can do something that I love to do and raise funds and awareness um, for the very community that saved my life, then that's what I want to do. So my friends and I, a few others that have had transplants or been affected by organ donation, we started a foundation. It's called Move for Life. So this is our first event of many, where we plan to do an event every year. And this year happens to be showcasing my training and my swim and the attempt to swim across the lake.
So inspirational. It's brilliant. And I'll put a little link to. Are you taking sponsorships? I take it. You must be, yeah. We'll
Yes,
put a link to that below this video for
sure.
anyone that wants to chip in.
That'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think. Well, you deserve it. I mean, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Um, but yeah, I mean, what a great thing to do.
Yeah,
And
I'm very excited.
yeah, yeah. So and so how many people have you set this up with?
There's about 6 of us that are on the team. Um, one, two, three, I think about 4 of us have had transplants. Myself and my friend Gray, we've had liver transplants, and the other 2 have had kidney transplants, and they're just such great friends, and you can probably relate. It's neat to have friends that have gone through the same thing, and
Yeah.
you understand each other. So we've been a great team and really supportive of each other, and that's part of our mission is to really support one another in this community.
Did you reach out to many transplant patients, sort of, other than going to the Transplant Games? You must have met a lot of people there, but beforehand, had you spoken to apart from your mum, obviously, anyone else?
No, no, like really the Transplant Games is kind of what opened the door to the world of meeting others. I may have been a part of some groups, but really the first communications I had with other transplant recipients was I knew that they were from Canada and that they were going to the games, so that we started chatting online, and it was cool. Like we would chat, and then I saw them in Spain, and I was like, "Hey, you're from Canada."
Yeah. Is the Canadian transplant team like fairly big?
Not really, no. I think there might be, I'm not sure how many athletes, and it changes a little bit every year. But the Canadian swim team, I can tell you, is probably less than 12 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I'm not actually sure how big the British team is, but I think, I mean,
huge.
yeah, I was going to say, in comparison to other countries, I think ours is quite big.
Yes.
I don't know where the sort of original Transplant Games was ever set up, and whether it was something that maybe was set up here and then sort of transcended round, and maybe that's why it's been going on longer here. I don't really know.
Maybe. That's a question I don't actually know either. I feel like maybe I knew the answer to that at one point, but I have since forgotten.
Yeah, because
Um,
somebody that I interviewed from Colombia, she said that their team is not very big at all for two reasons. One, they don't have a big recruitment to the team. You know, not many people know about the transplant games, and two, they just don't have many transplant recipients.
right.
So,
Yes, I think I know who you're speaking of, and I believe I met.
Tatiana,
Yes, I met
yeah,
Tatiana at the pool.
yeah,
Yeah, in Newcastle.
yeah, mad, mad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to meet everyone. It's going to be great.
you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
It's so much
definitely.
fun.
And it'll be a good excuse to go to Australia if I can make it into the England team.
Yes, yes, I can't
Yeah,
wait to go there. It'll be
yeah.
so great, especially after the last year and a half or so, right?
Yeah, how have you found
Yeah.
it in Canada? Like, what's it been like with coronavirus and things?
Uh, it's been up and down for sure. I mean, Canada's so big and each province does their own thing. So here in Ontario, we happen to be the worst off, partly because we have Toronto, and Toronto is a huge, highly populated city, and that's where the majority of the cases are.
Yeah,
So it's been challenging. Things, maybe similar to where you are, they shut down. Things are unavailable, such as the pool, which has been
yeah,
a challenge. Right now, things are open, and we have a color-coded system that kind of determines how strict the restrictions are. So we're somewhere kind of in the middle right now. Things are definitely not wide open, but I'm able to work and I'm able to swim. But we're not supposed to gather with too many people, and we have to stay apart, and we wear masks when we're in public.
yeah.
Um,
Have they started rolling out the vaccines there?
yes, there's always drama, but it's slow to start.
Yeah,
But hopefully, I think as a transplant recipient, I should be in the next phase to receive my vaccine. And our prime minister is promising that by September, everyone who wants to have a vaccine should be able to get one. So hopefully things go to plan.
yeah, change, get back to normal.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I see because on your Instagram as well, I see you've been doing some like core strength training and things like that to replace obviously being able to go swimming and
Yes.
you said that I mean that would be hugely beneficial to anyone doing sports, but you said it's really good.
Yes. Yes. So the time that the pools were closed, I switched over to running to keep my cardio in place. I didn't want to lose my cardiovascular endurance. And I believe it helped. I really think that the running transferred over to the pool because I've been back to the pool since. I've swam for 2 weeks now since the pools have reopened, and I do feel a lot stronger because I was doing a lot of strength training as well, and um, yeah, so I think it's important to supplement, and do those strength training exercises, also to strengthen your joints and just I really want to just bulletproof my shoulders. If they're going to pull me across the lake, I need to make sure that I don't have an injury. So,
Yeah. Have you spoken to anybody else that's done that swim? Has it been? I think it has been done. If you're saying about the wetsuit and the making it official.
yeah, yeah, I think somewhere around 70 people since 1954 have done this swim.
Right.
So it's not a lot, really.
No.
It's considered one of the hardest marathon swims in the world, apparently. And that's due to the sort of unpredictability of the lake because it can change temperature quickly. The waves can come on quickly. There's different currents from each side of the lake that kind of um, can blow you around one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to as many people as possible that have done it. I happen to have a really great mentor who's been giving me some mental training guidance, and he's swam across the lake twice and happens to hold the fastest time. So it's been really like priceless to have input from people that have already done this swim.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about the mental training. A lot of with the liver transplant or any kind of transplant as well. I mean, the mental side of it is just so hard, isn't it? And it's kind of
Yes.
the same as the swim. It's just the you can't just be physically strong. You've got to be mentally strong as well to get through a transplant and to get through something as big as what you're doing.
Yeah, you said it right. Like the desire to quit and give up, that presents itself a lot when you're waiting for a transplant. Like this this life doesn't feel like it's worth living anymore. You want to give up, you want to sleep until it's over. And I imagine I'll have similar thoughts, when I'm swimming across the lake.
Oh, 100%. I'm not even gonna lie to you. There's gonna be a point where you're like, why am I doing this? But
Yes,
you'll get through it.
yes, and I will have to think back to those moments of wanting to quit, but just persevering, getting through it one stroke at a time, and just really believing in myself and knowing that if I could get through, months of waiting on the transplant list, I can get through a day of swimming across
Yeah.
a lake.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, after having the transplant, a lot of people, they feel like they can achieve so much because of what they've been through.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, which I think is like really, as sad as it is to go through it, it's the part that I wouldn't take away because it's made me a stronger person.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And have you thought about what you're going to do when you get to the other side?
Well, I've been told that there's already an ambulance arranged to pick me up and bring me to the hospital to check me over, make sure I'm okay. But I plan after that to have a really great meal, definitely sleep.
Yeah,
Um, and then as far as like future goals, we'll have to see how I feel after this big swim. Right now, I like to say, I want to keep doing the marathon swimming because I really enjoy the training. But I might adjust the goal distance once I've swam 52 kilometers.
yeah, yeah. To say you've done that once is incredible.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, I'm kind of a bit speechless in a way. Like it's an incredible thing to do. It's an incredible thing to train for. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
yeah, yeah. So, like, in terms of the group that you're in and the things, what sort of other projects can you think that you might be doing?
Oh, we've talked about a few ideas. I have a tendency to get a bit ahead of myself, so I've been told to just focus on
What you're
the
doing?
goal this year. But we've thrown out the idea of doing like a swim-a-thon, so to get everybody involved and not just one, the pressure being on just one person. But maybe we would do like a 24-hour swim-a-thon where we would log as many kilometers as we could in 24 hours. I've had other ideas of swimming across different bodies of water. Um, and we're not just swimming. Although we happen to be all swimmers, I've thought maybe I would do a running challenge or even like some other kind of water sport, like maybe paddleboarding or prone boarding or
I want to
yeah,
get a
like really,
paddleboard.
really, yeah, really something that just involves movement and keeping active and healthy. That's really what we want to promote because staying healthy after your transplant is really to us and to me, it's very essential to maintaining your health and honoring the organ that you've received. So
Yeah,
whatever events we can come up with that, grab the attention of our followers, that we can raise funds for and train for, those are the kinds of things that we're going to be looking to do.
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, when is it you're saying you're doing the swim? What's the date of it?
So the date, we're hoping for August the 3rd, 2021. So it's really, we have to, the lake is in charge. So if there happens to be a storm, then we may have to push the date a day or two.
Yeah.
We need a clear 24-hour window of good weather to do it. But that's the proposed date. It'll happen beginning of August sometime.
So you've got a few more months yet.
Yeah, a few more months.
A few more months.
Not to mention the trial swim. So the trial swim is about a third of the distance of third to a half of the distance of Lake Ontario, and that's at the end of June. So that's no joke either.
Trial swim. Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be grueling as it is. And that's just to see if you're kind of fit enough to do the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. If my time is too slow, it shouldn't be based on my math. Um, then they would actually probably not let me do the Lake Ontario. So they want to make sure that I'm fit enough and mentally capable enough to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brilliant. And in terms of your donors, have you managed, is it something that you can do there to reach out to them, or is that is that something you thought about?
My organ donor?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so I don't know what it's like where you are, but here, um, the so I had a deceased donor. So all I know about him is that he was 21 when he died, and I believe it was if it's the person I think it is a snowmobiling accident. But I'm not really supposed to know that. It's confidential. So the only reason I know that is because I did some research and I knew just two key pieces of information: that he was 21 and it was a male. So I've written a letter to the family, and what I would do with the letter is give it to the hospital, and the
yeah,
hospital would then give it to the family. So I don't know who my donor family is. I've invited them to reach out to me if they want to meet me, but it's really in their hands.
yeah. Yeah, that's very much similar here. We write the letter and pass it on to the hospital, and then it's down to them whether they want to receive the letters or not.
Yeah, yeah. So I would hope one day, but you never know what they're going through, and maybe it'll take them years to want to know who's carrying their son's liver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very difficult sort of not difficult situation, but sensitive in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it
Um,
is.
well, I mean, I'm blown away a bit, but thank you very much
Great.
for coming on and chatting to me, and I wish you
My
all the
pleasure.
best with
Thank
your
you.
swim. It's an absolutely incredible feat, but I believe you'll be able to do it.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
And yeah, I mean, keep me posted on everything that's going on. I'll put a link in this video to your donation page and to everything you're doing.
That's
And
great.
hopefully I'll see you in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. See you at the
Brilliant.
Transplant Games.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
See you later. Bye bye, Jillian.
Bye.
Bye.